I'm Anita and I'm 64 and I'm just getting started. Reinventing Me, Episode 1. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I should be further along by now? Maybe you thought you could have more money by now, and maybe you thought you'd already have the career you wanted. Maybe you thought you'd have the relationship, the business, the house, or the freedom, or whatever that dream was for you. And somewhere along the way, you started wondering, did I wait too long? Did I miss my opportunity? Am I too old to start over? Well, I'm 64 years old and I've decided I'm just getting started. Hi, I'm Anita Miller and this is Reinventing Me. And today I want to talk to anybody who has ever wondered whether it's too late to become the person you know you're capable of becoming. Because I've had those thoughts too. I've looked back at the things I could have done differently, things I wish I would have started earlier, opportunities I didn't take, time I can't get back. And if you're not careful, you can spend so much time looking backward that you waste the time you still have in front of you. Think about that. We can spend another 5 years being upset about the last 5 years, or we can start today. What does reinventing yourself really mean? When I say I'm reinventing myself, I'm not saying I'm becoming somebody completely different. I'm still Anita. I still have my experiences. I still have my history. I still have my lessons. I still have things I'm working through. But reinventing myself means I'm no longer allowing the past to decide what I'm allowed to do next. And that's a big difference. Sometimes we think reinventing ourselves means throwing everything away and starting completely over, but it doesn't. Sometimes reinvention is simply deciding, I'm going to do something different with what I already have. I'm going to use what I've already learned. I'm going to use my experience. I'm going to use the wisdom I didn't have 20 or 30 years ago. And I'm going to build from here because I can't go back to be 30 again. I can't go back and be 40 again. I can't go back and change decisions I've already made. But you know what I can do? I can decide what 65 looks like. I can decide what the next 5 years looks like. I can decide what I'm going to do with the life in front of me. And so can you. The trap of thinking you're too late. I think one of the biggest things that keeps people stuck is the idea that there's some kind of timeline we're supposed to follow. By this age, I should have accomplished this. By this age, I should have done that. By this age, I should be settled. And then life happens. You start raising children, you go to work, you take care of everybody else. Relationships change, careers change, finances change. Sometimes dreams get put on the shelf because something else needs your attention. And then one day you look up and think, wait a minute, what about me? What happened to the things I wanted to do? And that's when that little voice starts talking. You're too old now. You should have done that years ago. Everybody else is ahead of you. And what's the point of you starting now? But here's what I've had to realize. Starting late is still starting. And today will always get you further than sitting there wishing you had started yesterday. I'm learning new things at 64. One of the things I've been doing during this season of my life is learning. I'm trying things I didn't grow up doing, creating videos, learning technology, learning new ways to build a business, putting myself out there, and that's a lot. I'm discovering things I'm good at that I may never have recognized before. And trust me, I didn't always know what I'm doing. Sometimes I have to figure it out as I go. Sometimes I mess up. Sometimes I have to start over. Sometimes I look at something and think, wow, how in the world do you do this? But I'm learning. And that's part of reinventing yourself. You don't have to know everything before you begin. You just have to be willing to learn. Somewhere along the way, adults get embarrassed about being beginners. Kids don't do that. A child will fall 20 times learning to ride a bike, and they get right back on it. But as adults, We'll try something twice and say, maybe this isn't for me. No, maybe you just haven't learned it yet. There's a difference. Stop asking why you didn't start sooner. This one has been important for me. At some point, you have to stop asking, why didn't I start sooner? And start asking, what can I do today? Because that first question keeps you in the past. The second question puts you in motion. Maybe you should have started the business 10 years ago. Okay, but you didn't. What can you do today? Maybe you should have saved more money. Okay, but you didn't. What can you do today? Maybe you wanted to go back to school. Maybe it was write a book. Maybe it was even to get healthier. You wanted to travel, you didn't. You wanted to start creating content. Maybe you wanted to learn something completely new. Whatever your thing is, what can you do today? Not next month, not January 1st, not when everything is perfect. Today. Because sometimes we're waiting for that perfect magical moment when everything lines up. And what I'm learning, that moment may never come. Sometimes you have to begin while things are still messy. Your reinvention doesn't have to look like mine. And I want to make that very clear. Reinventing yourself doesn't have to mean starting a business. It doesn't have to mean becoming an entrepreneur. It doesn't have to mean getting on social media. Your reinvention may be completely different from mine. Maybe maybe you've been spending your whole life taking care of everybody else, and now you're learning how to take care of yourself finally. Maybe you're finally setting boundaries. Maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're changing careers. Maybe you're getting serious about your finances. And maybe you're rebuilding after a divorce. Maybe you're learning to enjoy being alone. Maybe you're finally taking that trip you've always wanted to take. Discovering what you're passionate about. Or you don't even know what you want yet. And that's okay too. Your first step simply may be giving yourself permission to find out. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about 3 things. The first one is, what have you been putting off because you think it's too late? And be honest with yourself. What's that thing you keep thinking about? The second thing, what do you believe you need to let go of? Maybe it's, I'm too old. I don't have enough money. Or I'm not good enough with technology. Nobody's going to listen to me. There's already too many people doing that. Well, what will people think? Whatever it is, identify it. And the third thing is, what's one thing you can do this week? Not 20, one thing. One thing. Make the phone call. Research the class. Create the account. Write that first page. Record your first video. Take the first walk. Fill out that application. Ask the question. Whatever it is, take one step. Because one step gives you something that sitting still will never get you. And that's momentum. And I'm doing this with you. That's really what I want Reinventing Me to become. I'm not standing here or sitting here pretending I figured everything out. I'm figuring some of this out in real time. You're going to see me try things. You're going to see some things work, and you're probably going to see some things that don't work. But that's okay, because I don't want to wait until I've reached some imaginary finish line before I start living the life I'm trying to create. I want to document this journey, and maybe while I'm reinventing me, you'll decide to start reinventing you. Because I don't care whether you're 35, 45, 55, 65, or 75. You're still here. There's still something you can do. Your next chapter doesn't have to look anything like your last one. And maybe the question isn't, am I too old? Maybe the real question is, what am I going to do with the time I have now? Because I'm 64, and instead of looking at that number and thinking about everything I haven't done, I'm looking forward. I'm learning. I'm creating. I'm trying. I'm growing. And I'm giving myself permission to become the next version of me. So, no, I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. And I'm Anita Miller, and this is Reinventing Me. If you're reinventing something in your life too, tell me in the comments. I want to know what you're starting, changing, or finally giving yourself permission to do. And if you want to take this journey with me, subscribe and come back for the next episode. And please let me know in the comments. Until next time, keep reinventing you. Bye bye.